The story begins in 1644 when a group of peasant rebels, led by Li Xiangyun, successfully seized control of Beijing, bringing an end to the Ming Dynasty. In addition to their victory, Li Xiangyun acquired a treasured artifact, a white chalice rumored to possess hidden powers. After the fall of the Ming Dynasty, an organization known as the Guardian of Beizi was established to protect the white chalice. However, internal conflicts gradually led to the organization's decline. Despite this, the Hebei family, leaders of the Jin, remained steadfast in their duty to safeguard the artifact. Several centuries later, the last surviving members of the Hebei family were ambushed by a group of foreign treasure hunters. The hunters sought to eliminate the Hebei family entirely and claim the white chalice for themselves. Armed with modern weapons, they systematically wiped out the Hebei members one by one. In a desperate bid to protect the chalice, one of the remaining guardians of Beizi handed a pendant to the last surviving heir of the Hebei family, a mere child at the time, and cast the chalice into the river. Though the guardian was ultimately killed by the treasure hunters, they successfully prevented the artifact from falling into enemy hands. Shortly afterward, the treasure hunters were captured by the authorities, but their leader managed to escape. At the same time, the chalice, carried by the river's current, was discovered by a fisherman. Years passed, and the only surviving heir of the Hebei family, Moxun, had grown into a young man. One day, he was enjoying a bowl of chicken noodles at a small eatery with his friend Kai. Despite his age, Moxun remained obsessed with the legendary guardians of Beizi, just like his father before him. He even spent his time sketching various techniques used by the ancient protectors. At the same time, the restaurant owner's attention was drawn to a news broadcast announcing that the long-lost white chalice had been found and was set to be auctioned. After finishing his meal, Moxun returned to his university for an exam. Unable to contain his passion, he presented his exam project on the weapons of the Guardians of Beizi. However, his work was dismissed as outdated, and he was instructed to revise it. As he stepped out of the classroom, Moxun encountered Feng Bei, the school bully. Fortunately, his friend Kai arrived just in time to defuse the situation. Kai then warned Moxun to stay away from Feng Bei, as his older brother was a skilled martial artist and could cause serious trouble for them. Shortly after, Xiao Shi, the most beautiful girl on campus, walked past them. Smitten by her beauty, Kai eagerly followed her. However, Feng Bei and his gang had already approached Xiao Shi, treating her with blatant disrespect. Unable to stand by and watch, Moxun intervened, sparking a fight between them. In the brief but intense altercation, Kai sustained a head injury. Seeing his friend wounded, Moxun quickly pulled him away to tend to his injury. Additionally, Moxun went to the supermarket to buy some bandages. Meanwhile, at the auction house, an antique collector and archaeologist named David Huang devised a plan to steal the white chalice. He then sent 3 of his subordinates to infiltrate the vault and manipulate the CCTV footage. As the auction commenced, several antiques were successfully sold. However, the organizers were shocked to discover that the white chalice had disappeared, replaced by a cat statue. Elsewhere, the thieves who had managed to steal the chalice unexpectedly crossed paths with Moxun as he returned from the supermarket. In their panic, one of the thieves accidentally dropped the chalice. Just as they were about to retrieve it, a masked man appeared and swiftly took them down. Moxun, unaware of the chalice theft, was in awe as he watched the masked man effortlessly defeat the thieves. After subduing them, the masked man picked up the white chalice and disappeared into the night. In the end, news of the chalice theft spread. The next day, Moxun excitedly recounted his encounter with the masked man to Kai, convinced that the mysterious figure was a true guardian of Beizi. Elsewhere, the masked man who had taken the white chalice was revealed to be none other than He Xingyun, the owner of the chicken noodle eatery. Additionally, Xiaoxi was revealed to be his daughter. On the other side, David, furious over his failure to obtain the chalice, reprimanded his subordinates. In response, they suggested seeking the help of a formidable fighter named Yong Bei, as the masked man was clearly no ordinary individual. Agreeing to the idea, David immediately dispatched his men to find Yongbei. Not long after, upon reviewing footage of the masked man, Yongbei confidently claimed that he could defeat him in just 3 moves. Soon after, Fongbei approached Yongbei for help, revealing that he was the very brother Kai had warned Mosun about. On the other hand, Mosun and Kai returned to the noodle shop. Growing suspicious, Mosun began to suspect that Xingyun was the masked man he met before. Determined to prove his theory, he boldly asked Xingyun to be his mentor. Though Xingyun denied the accusation, Mosun refused to back down and attempted to attack him. However, Xingyun effortlessly dodged every move, leaving Mosun even more convinced of his true identity. The next day, Mosun went to the University Hall to practice the martial techniques of the Guardians of Beizi. There, he encountered Xiao Shi, who was rehearsing a dance routine. At one moment, annoyed by the noise, she asked Mosun to stop, but he ignored her and continued practicing. Amused by his clumsy movements, Xiao Shi burst into laughter. Feeling insulted, Mosun approached her, only to be swiftly taken down by Xiao Shi. To his astonishment, her movements bore a striking resemblance to those of the masked man. Seeing Xiao Shi move so discreetly, Mosun grew curious and decided to follow her home. However, before they could reach the chicken noodle shop, Yongbei and Fongbei suddenly appeared. Without hesitation, Yongbei attacked Mosun, who found himself unable to fight back. Seeing the danger, Xiao Shi urged Mosun to run. Just as they reached the noodle shop, a pair of chopsticks flew towards Yongbei, thrown by none other than Xingyun. Excited by the challenge, Yongbei immediately confronted Xingyun, and a fight broke out. In the midst of the battle, Yongbei struggled against Xingyun. Meanwhile, Mosun, having fought Fongbei and his gang, lost consciousness. In the end, the fight between Xingyun and Yongbei did not last long either, as Kai arrived, threatening to call the police. When Mosun finally regained consciousness, he recognized Xingyun as the masked man, noticing his distinct movements. However, despite his identity being revealed, Xingyun refused to teach Mosun kung fu, claiming that he lacked the necessary foundation. At the same time, Yongbei was determined to uncover Xingyun's background. Later that night, a mysterious figure ambushed Xingyun while he was walking. To his surprise, the attacker turned out to be Mosun, who wished to prove himself worthy of being taught. As proof of his resolve, Mosun presented a pendant he had received from the Guardian of Beizi, who had once saved his life. Seeing Mosun's determination, Xingyun finally agreed to teach him, but only if he could first pass a test. Elsewhere, David discovered a book about Ming civilization. The next day, accompanied by Kai, Mosun returned to the noodle shop to begin his trial. His training started with kneading dough, followed by fundamental exercises and basic kung fu techniques demonstrated by Xingyun. One evening, Xiao Shi grew curious about Mosun's obsession with becoming the Guardian of Beizi. In response, Mosun shared his past. When he was 10 years old, he had narrowly escaped treasure hunters and was later adopted by a fisherman who had found a white chalice. However, their peaceful life was short-lived. The leader of the treasure hunters, who had escaped capture, returned and killed the fisherman. In that moment of despair, a Guardian of Beizi appeared, but the murderer managed to flee. Ever since meeting Xingyun, Mosun had believed that he was the same Guardian of Beizi who had saved him that day. During his training, Mosun was not the only one undergoing rigorous training. David and his assistant were also making preparations. Time passed quickly, and a month later, Xingyun decided to test Mosun's progress. After a sparring match, Xingyun praised his talent in kung fu. Then, he led Mosun to a special room where he was to take the oath to become a Guardian of Beizi. With the oath completed, Mosun was officially recognized as a Guardian, though he still had doubts since he had never wielded a sword. To address this, Xingyun began teaching him the basics of cutting, using an apple placed atop a block of tofu. He explained that a sword is not merely a weapon, but an extension of one's mind. If Moxun wanted to wield a sword effectively, he had to first conquer his thoughts. Determined, Moxun practiced tirelessly until, by the next morning, he managed to slice the apple cleanly without damaging the tofu beneath it. At first, Moxun had sought to master kung fu for revenge, but he soon realized that if he focused solely on vengeance, he would lose sight of what truly mattered. Shaoxi then asked him what he would do if he ever confronted the one who had killed his family. As a result, Moxun remained silent, deep in thought. Meanwhile, a secret meeting took place between Yongbei and David. Through his investigation, Yongbei had discovered that the masked man's movements closely resembled Xingyun's. With this knowledge, Yongbei struck a deal with David, where he would claim Xingyun as a worthy opponent, while David would get the white chalice. The next day, while cleaning Xingyun's quarters, Moxun stumbled upon a notebook and a chest containing the white chalice. As he lifted the chalice, an eerie spirit emerged from it, though Moxun remained unaware. However, the moment he heard Xingyun's voice approaching, panic set in, and he accidentally dropped the chalice, breaking it. Fearful of the consequences, Moxun turned to Kai for help. Upon seeing the chalice, Kai was stunned. It was the very artifact stolen from an auction. Despite knowing that his master had stolen it, Moxun was determined to fix it. Kai then came up with an idea. They would replicate the chalice using a 3D printer. With the replica complete, Moxun prepared to return to Xingyun's house, hoping his mistake would go unnoticed. However, upon returning to the noodle shop, Moxun found David and his men holding Shaoxi hostage. Realizing that the captors wanted the white chalice in exchange, Moxun had no choice but to comply. As he tossed the chalice over, Shaoxi seized the opportunity to escape. But before she could get away, one of David's men swung a blade at her. Fortunately, Xingyun intervened just in time to protect her. He then ordered Moxun to take Shaoxi and Kai and flee. However, as they reached the door, David was already waiting with a gun aimed at Moxun's head. Despite this, Xingyun once again thwarted David's plan, allowing Moxun and the others to escape. Meanwhile, Yongbei challenged Xingyun to a rematch, but before they could fight, David shot Xingyun, leaving him severely wounded. Enraged by the interference, Yongbei lashed out at David, but David was unfazed and ordered his men to attack Yongbei instead. As David's men throw shuriken at Yongbei, Xingyun unexpectedly shielded him, which weakened Xingyun even further until he is finally captured. Meanwhile, David discovered that the white chalice he had obtained was merely a replica. Determined to acquire the real one, he used Xingyun's phone to call Shaoxi, demanding the genuine chalice. If they failed to comply, Xingyun would die. He provided a location for the exchange, set for the following night, warning them not to involve the police. Upon hearing this, Moxun immediately grabbed his robe and sword. As the last guardian of Beizi, he vowed to protect the white chalice from falling into David's hands. With the help of Kai and Shaoxi, the trio stealthily made their way to David's hideout. Before entering the building, Moxun discreetly placed a tracker on one of the parked cars. After carefully sneaking inside, Moxun soon realized that David had anticipated his arrival. As David's men surrounded him, Kai swiftly cut the power, plunging the building into darkness. Acting quickly, Shaoxi took the opportunity to help Moxun free Xingyun, while Kai arrived with a getaway car. In a desperate move to keep the chalice out of David's hands, Moxun tossed it toward Shaoxi, but one of David's men intercepted it first. Though the chalice was lost, Moxun successfully escaped with Xingyun. The next morning, Kai informed the group that he had managed to track David's car. With this new lead, they decided to follow the vehicle using the GPS signal. During the pursuit, Kai's car suddenly broke down. As Moxun stepped out to assess the situation, he was abruptly pulled into another dimension, where he encountered the spirit guardian of the white chalice. The spirit revealed that the chalice was the key to unlocking the treasures of the Ming Dynasty. These riches, originally seized by the Mongols, had been cursed due to their violent origins. To contain the curse, the White Chalice was created, and the Guardians of Beizi were established to protect it. The spirit then told Moxun that he possessed great potential, but his fear and unresolved trauma from losing his family still held him back. After this revelation, Moxun was transported back to reality, just as Kai successfully fixed the car. Before resuming their journey, Kai made a call to the police, alerting them about David's criminal group. Following the GPS signal, they arrived at an ancient temple. There, Moxun was confronted by David's assistant, blocking his path inside. With no time to waste, Moxun ordered Xiao to enter the temple and stop David from opening the chest, while he engaged in battle with David's assistant. Unfortunately, Xiao arrived too late. David had already opened the treasure chest, allowing an evil spirit to possess him. Now imbued with dark power, David became impervious to Xiao's sword strikes. Moments later, Moxun managed to defeat David's assistant by skillfully deflecting a shuriken back at him. But despite their combined efforts, Moxun and Xiao struggled to overcome David, who had become nearly unstoppable under the influence of the malevolent spirit. At one moment, Moxun finally overcame his fears, using the slashing technique taught by He Xingyun, which allowed him to cut through the evil spirit without harming David. To seal the treasure chest once more, Moxun pushed David into it, causing the lid to close shut. A few days later, life returned to normal. Moxun resumed his role as an ordinary university student while continuing his duty as the last guardian of Beizi. The film ends. Moral lesson from the story: if you ever find a magical chalice, don't drop it, especially if the fate of an ancient dynasty depends on it. Also, if your kung fu master runs a noodle shop, there's a 99% chance he could defeat you with a pair of chopsticks.